WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City, and now on FM translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City, Pleasantville.
Mark your calendars for a heartwarming celebration this Mother's Day. Join us on May 10th at 10 a.m. for the annual WEHA Mother's Day Brunch Buffet, held at Beacon Hall, 243 St. Louis Avenue, Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. This year, we are thrilled to have Lady Praise as our fabulous host, bringing her energy and warmth to make this event unforgettable. And that's not all. Our inspirational keynote speaker will be the beloved Reverend Julia Moore, First Lady of the New Mount Calvary Baptist Church in Mays Landing, New Jersey. She will uplift and inspire us all with her powerful message. Gather your family and friends to honor the incredible mothers in our lives with good food, special musical guests, great company, and a beautiful atmosphere. Tickets are going fast at $25, so don't wait. Reserve your spot today. For more information and to get your tickets, visit our Facebook page or our website or call us at 609-641-8870, extension 2.
Mother Sylvia Jerkins and Evangelical Fellowship Church present the 2025 Black and White Reunion Ball, featuring entertainment and dinner on Saturday, May 3rd from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Carriage House, 25 South Pitney Road, Galloway, New Jersey. Tickets are $125 for VIP seating and $100 for general seating, and include meal selections of filet mignon or glazed grilled salmon, to be decided at the time of ticket purchase. Tickets can be purchased through Zelle, Mother Sylvia Jerkins at gmail.com, Cash App, $EFC 521, or in person at Evangelical Fellowship Church, located at 521 Dowdy Road, Pleasantville, New Jersey, on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and Wednesdays from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. WEHA 88.7 FM, located at 1425 North Main Street, Pleasantville, New Jersey, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Phone number 609-641-8870. For more information, contact Evangelical Fellowship Church 521 at gmail.com. All are welcome.
Hawks, a name that has been trusted for almost 30 years in the janitorial services industry, is proud to present Hawks Professional Moving Services, fully insured, local and long distance, packing services, commercial and residential, no job too small or too large, friendly and reliable services. For more information or a free estimate, 609-484-0452. Hawks Professional Moving Services, where we treat your belongings like our own. Hawks, a name that has been trusted for almost 30 years in the janitorial services industry, is proud to present Hawks Professional Moving Services, fully insured, local and long distance, packing services, commercial and residential, no job too small or too large, friendly and reliable services. For more information or a free estimate, 609-484-0452. Hawks Professional Moving Services, where we treat your belongings like our own.
Something
Mother Sylvia Jerkins and Evangelical Fellowship Church present the 2025 Black and White Reunion Ball featuring entertainment and dinner on Saturday, May 3rd from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Carriage House, 25 South Pitney Road, Galloway, New Jersey. Tickets are $125 for VIP seating and $100 for general seating and include meal selections of filet mignon or glazed grilled salmon to be decided at the time of ticket purchase. Tickets can be purchased through Zelle, mothersylviajerkins@gmail.com, Cash App, $EFC 521, or in person at Evangelical Fellowship Church, located at 521 Downey Road.
The rental,
Pleasantville,
high
New
rents,
Jersey, on
and
Sundays
at
from
least
1 p.m.
begin to
3
start
p.m.
dealing with those who want to be a
and
homeowner
Wednesdays from
with
7 p.m. to 8
more
p.m.
money for
WEHA
down
88.7.
payments.
Okay.
I gotta find out who to look at. I gotta look. You need to sit over here so I can see you over here. You're in the wrong place.
Well, one thing we see about this candidate, he has no problem taking charge.
I apologize. I'm a guest.
No, I meant that as a positive, not a negative. The second question I'd like to ask is, what skills or strengths do you possess that sets you apart from your opponents? Why should we vote for you as commissioner?
I would tell you why I would like for you to vote for me. I can't tell you why you should vote for me. And I think that you already know my record. If you know me, I've been in Atlantic City, Atlantic County. I'm known not for what I say, but for what I do. And I would ask that you look at what my record has been, what my record is, look at my actions, my interactions, and you determine that based on that. And I did that before my time.
All right. Normally the problem is the other way around, but this works out very nicely this evening. You mentioned that housing was one of the pressing problems in Atlantic County. Many residents of the county, as you mentioned, remain vulnerable to housing insecurity, especially following the pandemic. What measures can we take at the county level to protect both homeowners and renters and address this housing insecurity?
Well, again, housing is an extremely problematic situation for Atlantic City and the areas. And one thing I think Atlantic City, we need to be mindful of residents of Atlantic City, our population is steadily decreasing. And that means the voter base decreases. I think around the city, around the county, certain areas of the county need to take on their housing obligations. Along with those housing obligations, we have bonding capacity of $90 million. A part of that ought to go toward developing affordable housing and increasing the housing stock, not only in Atlantic City, but around the county.
All right. I want to lead the charge and thank Reverend Collins Days for showing up here tonight and introducing himself to us and for his response to our questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't I have one more minute to close? Every preacher needs to be able to close. And I would just simply say that I'm really grateful and thankful for the interest that all of you have come out to hear all the candidates. And just like Reverend Green said, I showed up tonight. You can bet every time I'll show up for you. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, I understand that Dr. Victoria Docia Mori has arrived, and we would invite her to come forward, and right over here is the hot seat for this evening.
Good evening.
You have 2 minutes to tell us about yourself and tell us something that we need to know about you, and then we will begin the questioning. And so, please.
Okay. My name is Dr. Victoria Dulcimore. I'm actually born right down the street in Atlantic City Hospital. So I'm very proud to be here, born and raised in Atlantic City. And I'm second generation from, my grandparents are from Italy. And I actually lived here most of my life and spent 20 years in California, where I was in the music business, and then I got into higher education. I currently live in Margate, and I'm raising my children here. I've been back now for about 10 years, and I could not think of a better place to raise my children. And it's wonderful to be among family and be in a familiar place. I teach at Rowan University. I teach in the College of Performing Arts, and I also formerly was an administrator at Pepperdine University in California and also at the University of New Haven. And a lot of the skills that I gained as an administrator, so I've been, in front of students and also in administration, I think are transferable skills that will help all of us in a position like this, because we have to manage the external environment, work together, work with communities, but also we have to do the hard work, managing budgets, understanding the needs of our constituents, everyone in the area. In my case, it's not just Atlantic City or the island, but the 23 cities in our great county of Atlantic County. I have 3 children that I'm raising as a single mom, and they go to school locally, and it's just a wonderful place to be raising my children. I'm a musician by trade. I'm a professional musician, and I teach music history. I teach piano. I was a COO of an educational company, so that's just a little bit about my background. And my children actually were baptized right down the street in St. Nick's.
All right. What I did not tell you before you started talking is that we have a timekeeper, and that timekeeper is sitting right down here, and kind of keep an eye on him as you're talking.
Thank you.
I want to ask you the same question that I asked Reverend Days, and incidentally, this is a candidate for Commissioner at Large. What do you believe is currently the most pressing issue that needs to be addressed within Atlantic County, and what plans do you have to address it?
Well, I think as Reverend Dave also felt, there are many, and I also feel the same way in terms of housing. We all know prices are rising. It's almost seems like an impossible dream now to own your own home, especially if you're just starting out. Another area that I think is of great concern is food insecurity. There's ways that I've been thinking about how to creatively help the county with our residents. I myself am involved in food drives with the community, and it was started by my father, who was born and raised in Atlantic City as well, with the intention of not only helping the food bank, but helping others understand what they can do and how easy it is to do this yourself and work with the food bank. But I think, at a higher level, we need to be creative. And I think that's one of the things I bring is a creativity, and to come up with ways that we can ally ourselves with other vendors that would benefit from serving the community for food insecurity, would benefit from helping with zoning laws, and would benefit from rent restrictions. I'm going to get the hook, right?
Um, well, let me ask a follow-up question that might allow you to continue along the lines you were traveling. What will be your budget priorities as a commissioner, and what steps will you take to keep residents' property tax bills from increasing?
That is an amazing question that I think everyone is dealing with now, not just here in the county, but across the country. Well, I do have the experience managing budgets, but the truth is costs are rising. With everything that's going on at the federal level, we have to do everything that we can to protect New Jersey, right? And manage our budgets accordingly while still serving our constituents. But I feel that it's very important to understand, what is happening in the community, which is walking around and hearing people's stories and understanding their concerns. I think there's creative ways to ally shared services so we don't have redundancy in spending. So creating the relationships with all the other cities and understanding where we can work together to perhaps, save some money while also still being able to serve our communities. I just want to add something to the last question that is relevant here, and that's the meaning of life, right? That's okay.
And for your last question, it is, what was it you were going to add?
Well, it's just quite concerning, I think, and this is one of the many reasons why I decided to run. I have 3 jobs, I have 3 children, I am a single mom, but I am very disenchanted and upset with what is going on in this country, and I want to do something about it, and I know we can all mobilize and do something. And when I find out things like, we have 55,000 people in our county that are living at the poverty level. Okay, we have children, programs that are being cut from our children in school who wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to have breakfast, for food service programs that are potentially being cut. And that is coming. And I want to do everything I can to protect that. In my research in music, one of the top programs to be cut is music and physical education, and sometimes it's the only place children have the opportunity is in school, so I want to protect our education system. I just saw the sign, so I will stop. It sort of answered the last question, I think, that you, like, what I want to do, why am I doing this?
Well, you have 1 minute for closing, and so anything pressing on your heart that you'd like us to know about you or about what your plans are, you might express them now. Well,
I think I shared a little bit of that with you. At church on Sunday, my priest, Pavel, his sermon talked about, in a very fluid, light way, without getting political, told everyone in that church that day, which is about this size in Longport, you have to serve for the good. You have to be a notion for good with people, because you can always find something good. And the way you do that is you work together. And to me, that, as thinking about coming here tonight, I want to be a force for good, because I'm in the same position. And I want to be a force for good to leave something good for my children and the next generations. So I want to help, I want to work together. And I thank you so much for having me here tonight, and I just got timed out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We're going to move now to the candidates for mayor of Atlantic City, and we want to invite the candidates to come forward who are here. We want to start this evening with Bob McDevitt. Good evening.
Good evening.
You have welcome, and we're so glad that you decided to come out for this candidates evening. You have this evening 2 minutes to as an introduction and to tell us anything that you would like us to know about you as a candidate for mayor.
Okay.
And then the questioning will begin. And so please tell us who
Great.
Bob McDivitt is.
Thank you. Well, other people have to tell you who I am. It's hard to say who you really are. But I will say this. My family has lived in this town. In fact, my great-grandfather was a Methodist, and I believe worshiped in this church. And my great-grandmother was Italian and Catholic, and she was from Ducktown. And they had four boys and four girls, including my grandmother was one of the girls. And every Sunday they switched churches. They would go to the Methodist service, and then the next Sunday they would go to the Catholic service. Then when they became 11 or 12 years old, they had to choose whether they're going to be a Methodist or a Catholic. And all the boys became Methodists and all the girls became Catholics. I remember my grandmother telling me the reason why she decided she was going to be a Catholic was because they sang better music. Now, that's a long time ago, 100 years ago more. But that's the kind of city this is. Because Catholics and Methodists did not mix 100 years ago. So Atlantic City has always been that melting pot. It's been a city that I have loved because my family has spent so much time here. And, one of the greatest joys I had was moving from Pleasantville, where I lived for 7 years, back into Atlantic City in 1993. And I know once I went back over that bridge and came onto the island, in my heart and my mind, I said, there's only one way I'm going back out, and that's in a box, because I'm never going to move from the island again. Because once you smell that air, once you feel that feeling of living here and know the families and grow up the way I did, I'm so fortunate. There's no reason to live anywhere else. And I now have a son who is 5 years old, who is the reason why I'm thinking about the future.
All right, thank you. Tell us a bit about what makes you uniquely qualified to serve as the mayor of Atlantic City.
Well, look, I don't think you need to have amazing skills to be the mayor and to be successful. I think to be a successful leader, number one, you got to be honest with the people who you lead. And never forget, you're leading them because they are letting you lead them. You're not in charge of those people. They're really in charge of you. I spent 20 years working in the casino industry as a bartender and a waiter and a busboy and a barback. And I spent a little under 30 years as president of Local 54. And I learned to really love the diversity of this city. I love the city, the history of this city, and I could spend not as much as Mr. Johnson, but I could spend a lot of time talking about that as well.
Thank you. The state takeover of Atlantic City has been extended. What do you see as the pros and cons of that takeover?
Well, there's not a lot of pros about the takeover of Atlantic City because it has not been successful. Clearly, anyone that lives here knows that it has not been a successful experiment. Now, at the time, I thought I was for that takeover. It wasn't, it was a choice, the direction the city was going, and I didn't like it. And as a citizen, I felt that it was something you should take a chance on, because what had happened the previous 20 years was not good either. And I find that as I think of what's happened since then, we're really sort of running in place here. We were running in place without the state takeover. We're running in place with the state takeover. And I think that what we have to do is stop looking outside of the city to find solutions. We need to get those solutions from within. And I think that that's my major thought on that topic.
Thank you. Atlantic City has over 2,400 tax-exempt parcels at an assessed value that is more than double the assessed value of taxable parcels. Do you have a plan to reduce the number of tax-exempt parcels? And what ways can we increase the rateable base in Atlantic City?
Thank you for that question. The taxable parcels in the city, the largest connected parcels are the Walk. The Walk got a 100-year tax abatement. We can't do anything at the Walk and derive any tax income from it, at least until for another, I guess it will be 80 years from now. So that's off the table. There's nothing you can do to change that unless the state or the owners, Tanger Outlets, want to start paying taxes on it. They have no obligation to do that. And I think that's a big example of a lot that's happened in every neighborhood in the city, in every ward in the city, where there has not been a cohesive plan to move the city forward. And I think that everybody shares that responsibility, including myself. And I believe that we also share the responsibility to change that direction. There's no reason for a city that used to be almost 70,000 people to now have just a little over 30,000 and not be able to build housing.
Thank you. You now have a minute for closing to cover questions I perhaps didn't ask you, or anything that you feel that the folks here need to know about you as a candidate for mayor.
Well, it's hard to do that in a minute, but I'll do my best. Raising 6 kids in this city has been a pleasure, and it's been a real opportunity because this is a very diverse city. It's a much different city than it was when I had my first daughter, only one daughter, and that was 38 years ago. The city has changed dramatically with the ethnicity of the city, with where people come from. We're much more diverse now than we were then. We were very diverse then. But now with the different communities from South Asia who have moved in here, there is an opportunity to turn this city back towards a city of 40,000, 50,000. When we get that kind of population and the city starts filling up, you have a tax base, you don't need to depend on gimmicks and stuff to make the city work.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob McDevitt. Thank you, sir. We'd like to invite our current mayor, Marty Small Sr., to come before us now. Thank you. This is not a campaign stop this evening. We are here to hear from the candidates and to hear from the mayor and what he has to say to us. And so we would ask if you would kind of try to restrain yourself. Amen? Amen. Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Welcome. And you have 2 minutes to tell us anything you'd like to say about yourself and the job you're doing here in Atlantic City.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank the NAACP for hosting this forum, as well as this wonderful church, Asbury, for having all of us here tonight to listen to our ideas, etc. So I want to thank you. I'm Mayor Marty Small Sr., Mayor of the great city of Atlantic City. I've been Mayor of Atlantic City since October 3rd, 2019. And I would like to say that ever since then, we made it a great day here in the city of Atlantic City. I promised to take care of the taxpayers. That was my first and foremost priority, and we did that in a big way. Yesterday, we announced a 6th straight property tax decrease. Wall Street, both Moody's and Standard & Poor's, we are one step away from investment grade here in the city of Atlantic City. Not that we need to go to the market, but we don't need to go to the market, but that's an option if we need to. Secondly, the youth and seniors are our 2 most precious resources. We've delivered in a big way more youth programs, more opportunities. We sent kids to Africa. We invested $3 million over the last 3 years in scholarships for youth. When you talk about the multicultural community, it's a growing community here in the great city of Atlantic City. We've taken great care of them by providing programs and services with the multicultural office. And for all of Atlantic City to matter, we had to have the LGBTQ plus community matter, and we've done that in a big way. The first mayor to address that population. When we talk about clean and safe, you hear our opponents say safe, clean streets, but don't talk about a plan for safe, clean streets. The fact of the matter is Atlantic City is clean, Atlantic City is safe. According to the first quarter report of the Atlantic City Police Department, crime is down 11%, and the city is getting cleaner each and every day. You talk about the technology that we invest in. When with late great LG Access, what we do is $16.8 million, $5 million went to a citywide camera project, which was key in the latest arrest here in the great city of Atlantic City. You talk about infrastructure. People talk about Atlantic Avenue. Atlantic Avenue would have been paved if the casinos didn't sue, but I got great news, everybody. Atlantic Avenue's getting paved. Pacific Avenue's getting paved. MLK's getting paved. And Baltic Avenue from Baltic Avenue from Maine to Missouri is getting paved as well. And we fixed both Venice Park bridges. That's just a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What will be your #1 priority in your first 100 days if you are reelected?
Well, we're going to continue what we've done my entire term. I got to a little bit of my platform, but when you talk about the infrastructure, when you talk about small business initiatives, investing $500,000 with our new economic development director, Bruce Weeks. When we talk about development, I hear my opponents say that people aren't moving to Atlantic City. We need more homes. I don't know what city he lives in because all the development is happening here in the great city of Atlantic City. K-Hive is going to expand their footprint. The long empty parcel across from Gardner's Basin, the Kushner project is coming here to the great city of Atlantic City. We have other developers. We got the Beta Field project. We got the project that is talked about being built in the middle of town by Sands and taking up the Claridge. So, and also, if I'm going to go to people, because this administration is investing in human capital, if I'm going to go to people and ask them to develop this city, we have to do it ourselves. Charity starts at home with our unique home lottery program where we built 4 new homeowners here, and we're going to expand that to 6 as we move forward in the next year.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to return to that question about the tax-exempt parcels in Atlantic City. 2,400 of them, and assessed at a value that is more than double the assessed value of taxable parcels. Do you have a plan to reduce the number of tax-exempt parcels? And what are the ways we can increase our rateable?
Yes, I'm going to disagree with the number of 2,400. However, the small administration has been partaking in that plan. How do you think K-Hive is going to expand that footprint from the original phase 1, which is 38 units where the old funeral parlor is, to 125 units, which are the next 2 blocks, and also the extra 136 units? How did we do that? The city and CRDA got out of the way and came up with a plan for them to purchase that. That is twofold. It is putting private property on the tax rolls that was formerly tax exempt, and we're creating ratables here in the great city of Atlantic City from the real estate taxes and growing the ratable base from the houses that are built. That's just one part. The other part is partnering with CDCs and nonprofits and giving away land for $1 if people are going to do the right thing. That's very important for people to start businesses and for first-time home buyers to get homes, and we've done that in a big way.
Thank you.
Cool.
Tell us, Mr. Mayor, why we should re-elect you as the mayor of Atlantic City. Give us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, I'm easily the most qualified, the most educated, the most accomplished, and the most in touch with the people. When you say Marty Small, you don't have to say who. I've been around. I like to say that I'm Atlantic City born, I'm Atlantic City bred, and when I die, I'm gonna be Atlantic City dead. And despite what some of the naysayers may say, this administration is pressing along. Like I said, we believe in human capital, from jobs, development, and everything in between, investing in our youth, investing in our seniors, and investing in people and giving people opportunities in government that has never had before, all while offering more services and programs. Development is up, taxes is down, and this is what this administration stands for: fiscal responsibility. Our record is unblemished in that matter, and as we move forward, more development and more rateable bases coming on, you're going to see Atlantic City a building boom in the next couple years.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is now time for your closing, and anything that I didn't ask you or that you'd like to touch on, please do that now, sir.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's simple. I love this city, and being the mayor of Atlantic City is not an on-the-job training position. You have to know what you're doing, and we've demonstrated that time and time and time again. This administration is what all your hopes and dreams are made of. So on Tuesday, June 10th, we're going to ask you to dream big, vote small, re-elect Pat Bailey, re-elect Stephanie Marshall, and elect M. Suel Ahmed. And before I go, do remember, ladies and gentlemen, who stood with you during COVID. I led the city out of COVID, and our opponent, like a thief in the night during COVID, wanted to take over the government with the change of government, partnering with casino execs and North Jersey special interests to take your voting right away. And he's on the record of saying that Atlantic City should have a municipal manager. He said, okay, let's take the council people from 9 to 5. They'll pick the mayor between themselves, meaning you have no right to say who your mayor is, and that the person that will run Atlantic City will ultimately be living 50 miles away as the emergency manager. And just remember that. And the Atlantic City residents wasn't fooled. We beat that back 80% to 20%. I'm Mayor Marty Small Sr., and I approve this message.
Amen. Amen.
All right. Well, thank you to all the candidates thus far. We are going to be moving along to our Atlantic County Assembly candidates. And so we have up first Miss Maureen Rowan. And she is running for Assembly for the 2nd Legislative District.
Good evening. Thank you first for inviting us here. It's a pleasure and an honor. My name is Maureen Rowan. Looking around the room, I have met some of you, but not a lot of you. So I'm just going to give you a little quick bio of what I'm about. I am a retired lawyer. I was a trial lawyer, so I went to court all the time. In addition to handling cases, going to court, I also ran my own law firm. So I was responsible for all aspects of the business, hiring, firing, budgets, payroll, everything. So I have not only legal experience, but business experience. I think I'm unique probably from all the candidates here because I was not born and raised in Atlantic City or Atlantic County. I am a Philadelphia native, and my professional career was spent in Philadelphia. Some people may see that as a detriment. I do not. I think it is a strength and a positive because I can bring a fresh set of eyes and a new perspective to Atlantic City and Atlantic County. I've been living here 5.5 years. I live in Atlantic City, which I love. The beaches are beautiful. Everything is beautiful about Atlantic City. I love the diversity, that it has a more urban feel, even though we're at the beach. So that is a little bit about me. Thank you. And I finished before my time. That's unusual for a lawyer.
Ms. Rowan, you heard a lot tonight about housing, and I'm going to pose a question to you. As it states, many residents of this county remain vulnerable to housing insecurity, especially following the pandemic that we all experienced. What measures can we take at the county level to profit both the homeowners and renters as we also look to address housing insecurity?
The scarcity of affordable housing is a problem all across the country, including Atlantic County. It is a huge problem, probably one of the biggest problems that the country is facing. The biggest problem is there is not enough supply of affordable housing to keep up with the demand. There's simply not enough. So, as other speakers have indicated, we have to start building that housing. Some of the ways to do it are take advantage of the programs that currently exist in New Jersey. There's a program called the Aspire program, which provides gap funding to developers who may want to come here but simply don't have enough money to finish the project. We could utilize that. In fact, I believe their project was approved in September of 2024 in Summers Point to build 43 affordable housing units. I would offer also first-time down payment assistance to rental assistance programs. So we have to build up the supply of affordable housing.
Thank you. And outside of food insecurity and housing insecurity, what do you believe this county's biggest pressing issue is that you would have to tackle on day one?
I think the price of energy, the electricity keeps going up and up and up. Last year there was a 20% increase. This year they're looking to increase it another 17.2%. Atlantic City Electric also wants an 8% increase to install a smart meter. The way that I would address it is that we have to be realistic. Clean energy is great, renewable energy is fabulous, but it's not taking care of our energy needs right now. So we just can't sit around and wait while we develop this renewable energy. So we have to consider other alternatives. We do have to look at natural gas, at least for the time being, more emphasis on solar, and maybe even nuclear energy. I know that's a scary term, but it is clean, and it's different now. It's not as, I'll say, dangerous as it used to be, but the energy bills have to be under control, and I would keep in place the energy assistance programs that currently exist, but raise the income threshold so more people have that availability.
Thank you. And one of the things we hear as a community organization is that we know there are a lot of people who want to fix a problem. They're passionate about it, but sometimes there is a lack of connection, people working together. So as an elected official, how will you work with community organizations to create an inclusive system that allows us to address the issues together?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do, and it seems to be self-evident and maybe a little too simplistic, but you have to go out in the community. We have to listen to you. We shouldn't be talking to you saying, this is what the issues are. We have to go out into the community, go to events like this, go to conduct town halls, go to community organizations, because what is most important is what is important to the residents of Atlantic County.
Thank you. And so with that, we're going to give you 1 minute to tell us something in your closing remarks, maybe something you wanted to add.
Okay, not to be repetitive, but I do think that, well, first of all, I was a trial lawyer for a long time, about 35 years. So I'm an advocate, I'm a fighter. I have a unique skill set to be able to advocate and fight, but I also have the ability to see both sides of an issue. And some people might not see that as a plus, but it is a plus because I can anticipate what the other side is going to argue, and I can knock down that argument and continue to advocate for the positions and issues that are important for the residents of Atlantic County.
Thank you. Ms. Maureen Rowan.
Okay.
Next up, we have our second Assemblyman candidate, Mr. Bruce Weeks. So, Mr. Weeks, you have 2 minutes of opening statement, and then we'll have 6 minutes of questions, and then a minute to close out. So you can start with your opening statement.
Appreciate you. So good evening, everyone. As Christian stated, my name is Bruce Weeks. I was born and raised here in the city of Atlantic City. Went to Atlantic City High School where I graduated, and then I went to Howard University where I graduated in 2008 with a finance degree. Shortly thereafter, I went and worked on Wall Street for a number of years, so I have a finance background. And then I moved back to Atlantic City in around 2016. Had a number of different jobs, worked at Atlantic Care, worked for the city government. I served as a councilman at large here in the great city of Atlantic City. And currently, I am the Assistant Director of Economic Development for the city of Atlantic City. So I've been civically involved, I've been politically involved, I've been a part of the business community. I was the founder of the Small Business Academy, which I actually just came from. We had a session tonight. But for me, I'm running for assembly because we need change. We need someone that actually understands the needs in this district, someone that looks like us, that can understand the problem, someone that's closer to the problems and doesn't represent any special interests or elite political faction. So that's why I'm running. I want to be your representative here in District 2. Again, my name is Bruce Weeks. And thank you for having me. And thank you to the NAACP for hosting this. I think these forums are great to bring transparency about every candidate from state down to local. So happy to be here.
No, thank you. And so that kind of leads into the next question, which you kind of talked about, but what skills or strengths do you possess that maybe your opponent does not have?
So I would say the first strength that I have that makes me unique is my vision. And when I say vision, I'm not talking about my ability to structure long-term goals. I'm not talking about my ability to plan things out or to see things that other people don't necessarily see from a development standpoint. But my ability to see that single mother that stands on the White Horse Pike out in the dark and the cold, waiting for her bus to get to work, only to be able to barely pay her rent and her daycare. My ability to see the intelligent black and brown folks that are in our county, in our district, that want to start a business but don't have the connections or the resources to get going. And as we look around the country at what's going on, with certain powers wanting to get rid of DEI, we all know the opposite of diversity is segregation. We all know that the opposite of equity is inequity, and we know that the opposite of inclusion is exclusion. And I don't know about anyone else in this room, but the only time I turn back the hands, the hands on the clock, is daylight savings time. So we don't have any time to be going backward. We need to be progressive. We need to be diverse. We need to have diversity of thought and diversity of leadership that reflects the community.
Thank you. And you have an extensive background in finance and budgeting, and so at this level, if elected, what would be your first budgetary priority?
So my first budgetary priority would be affordability. When we look at property taxes, when we look at the cost of living, and then we start to examine all of the tax incentives that the corporations get in our area, and they get pilots, they get this, and they get all kinds of programs. And then we start to think about some of the revenue streams that come through Atlantic City that we don't get, whether it's parking tax, luxury tax, and hotel tax. I want to have a two-part legislation that firstly brings back a larger portion of those revenues to Atlantic County. And then once we get that passed, I want to augment that and add a second part that creates a property tax relief fund specifically for families in Atlantic County. Because for far too long, we've had the casino pilot and no pilot for the people. When people are struggling to make their mortgage payments, there's no pilot program for them. They have to deal with the bank directly or with the city directly. We need to have specified fund generated from those special tax revenues that we don't get anything from. We need to get a bigger percentage of those tax revenues and create a property tax relief fund for the residents of Atlantic County.
Awesome, thank you. And really quickly, what do you believe is the most pressing concern that this county is facing?
Well, there are a number of concerns. The first one I want to talk about is affordable housing. Someone just spoke about the housing shortage. So currently, at the rate that we're building in New Jersey, 2,700 units a year, there's currently a massive shortage of over 200,000 units that need to be met. At this particular rate that we're building affordable housing, it would take us 80 years to catch up. So we need to really loosen some of the zoning regulations in certain areas that encourage and not discourage multifamily building of housing. But we also need to further incentivize developers to come here to help them fund those projects. We have a number of those through the state EDA. But the last thing I want to talk about as far as an issue is economic opportunity. There is a severe lack of resources for minority black-owned businesses and minority businesses. Nationally, we are 2 times likely to be denied loans, and when we do receive business loans, we receive significantly less than our counterparts. So we need to have intentional set-aside funding through the NJEDA specifically for minority-owned businesses so that we have access to capital to grow our businesses, to create sustainable wealth that we can transfer to our heirs. And then lastly, we need to completely revamp our procurement process in this state. They did a disparity study and it found some very concerning things. The first being that we received as a community significantly less than our counterparts as it pertains to contracts. So for instance, for construction contracts, minority-owned businesses only received $13 million compared to their counterparts, $14 billion. I can go on and on. I wish I had more time.
We appreciate that passion.
Okay.
But there's a passionate timekeeper to my right who I'm afraid of.
I think we need more time up here for these questions.
Well, listen, so we want you to continue. We give you 1 minute for closing. Is that okay? We appreciate you. Mm-hmm. So we're going to give you 1 minute for closing, if we can finish that.
Okay, so in closing, I'll just say that there are a number of things that we need to revamp systemically in our district. They call it structural violence in certain areas of this country. There have been certain policies and legislation in place that have held us back for too long. We need someone that's going to go to Trenton and be innovative and fight for us and be intentional about bringing those resources home. Again, I appreciate all the tourism dollars that come here. They bring economic benefit to us, but it also puts a strain on our infrastructure and our resources, and we don't ever account for that. There's no set-aside funding for Atlantic City or the county for all of the stress that goes on our roads and our bridges and our pathways. And again, that stuff has a lasting effect year-round. Yes, all that money coming in is good for the summertime, but we need to be properly accounted for as a district as it relates to the state. We need to be taken more seriously. We also are a transportation desert, which greatly affects employment opportunities. It greatly affects people's ability to sustain employment. So there are a number of issues that the incumbents are not addressing. They can't get anything passed. I haven't seen anything that would really benefit the people. All I see are legislation that match special interests or people that donate to their campaigns. We need something that reflects, and also the last part, we need to institute participatory budgeting within our process. What that means is the citizens get involved in that process for a specified amount of funding where they actually have say about how that money is used for infrastructure.
And out of fairness for the other candidates, we want to make sure that we're fair. But we appreciate the passion of our candidates today. Now, this is just a little joke to kind of levy the room. I thought he was going to come in a turtleneck today because nobody can wear a turtleneck like Bruce Weeks. But I want to thank you for your passion. And again, out of fairness for the other candidates, we want to make sure that we stay on time. And this is not the only time that you can hear from these candidates, as you will probably be able to see in their campaign. So can we give another hand for Mr. Weeks? And I believe I saw another candidate come through. Miss Joanne Familaro. Oh, to my right, okay. And I don't want to get in trouble with Mr. Johnson with the time. I want to make it home to my kids tonight. So if we can just stay within, and we appreciate you coming. And so the time is 2 minutes for opening remarks, 6 minutes for some questions that I will pose to you, and then 1 minute of closing remarks.
Okay, you got
it. Don't start yet. The timekeeper's computer froze, so we want to be fair.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we're good to go.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Joanne Famularo. I am on the Pleasantville City Council. I am in my second term of being on City Council in Pleasantville. I've served 5 years so far. Previous to that, I served 6 years on the Pleasantville Board of Education. During that time when I was on the Board of Education, I owned a small deli sandwich shop in Pleasantville where I got to really know and meet the people of Pleasantville. So much so that in the first year of opening my business, I also moved to Pleasantville. So I have lived in the city of Pleasantville for 24 years, 24 and a half years. Pleasantville is probably the most unique city around here because it has a little bit of everything and a lot of nothing. And that's what we have to hope to change. We have to change that in Atlantic City, we have to change that in Atlantic County, and we have to change that in Pleasantville. But I was born and raised in Atlantic City, so I know a little something about Atlantic City and the surrounding areas, and I love this place. It doesn't matter where you go, somehow you always wind up coming back to this place. I don't know what the magnetic force is that pulls you back, but there is something that pulls you back to this town. So I am running for the assembly seat in LD2. I have experience in governmental issues, I have experience in school board issues, and I have a wealth of experience in dealing with small businesses and how to keep a small business up and running for 20-some years. So I've been pretty successful in that.
Thank you.
I'll make sure you get home.
I appreciate that. And so all night we've been hearing about what the candidates feel the most pressing issues are, and the root of it is economics, economic development, improving in the county. So the question is, what steps can you take in a role that will allow you to ensure that economic development tools, one, are utilized correctly, but two, also are utilized to promote racial equity?
Well, I deal with a lot of that in Pleasantville. We have to, the first thing that you have to do is have set guidelines on, for people that are opening up small businesses, because they're putting their heart, soul, and their livelihood in opening these businesses. So as a city, a municipality, a congressional district, a legislative district, we have to work on making a punch list for these businesses so that when you go and you think you're ready to open, and the inspector comes in, and he just had a fight with his wife the night before, or he had bad coffee in the morning, he doesn't find 15 things wrong with your business when you think you're ready to open. So we have a complete checklist for everybody. It would make it just that much easier for these people that are trying to open up a business.
Thank you. And what will be your budget priorities as an assembly person, and what steps would you take to keep residents' property tax bills from increasing?
Divine intervention to stop property taxes from going up, because there are certain built-in contractual obligations that each municipality is bound by. And that's what makes, most of the time, your city property taxes go up. What we have to do as people who live here, as, innovators, as people who want to help run this area, we have to really try to get ratables in. And, small businesses are ratables. We need also big businesses. We need to look outside what the regular scope is. Like we have apartments, we have houses. We need businesses that are going to bring more people here, more heads in the beds, but we also need businesses to keep them going.
Thank you. And my final question is, at the NAACP, one of our core values is something that Dr. King talks about, being a molder of consensus. As it relates to community organizations working with government officials, how do you plan to connect the dots so that there is no missing links or no inequities created?
I am probably one of the most accessible people in Pleasantville as somebody who sits on the city council. Everybody knows where I live. Everybody knows where to get hold of me. Transparency is what people demand. It is what people want. And as legislators and people that hold office, we should want to be as transparent as Glad Wrap. Because if people can't see what's going on, that's where everybody believes there's backdoor deals, there's all kinds of, nefarious things going on. So I got cards, it's got my phone number on them. You want to get hold of me, I'm a phone call away.
Thank you. And 1 minute to close out your remarks.
Well, I hope your dinner's still hot when you get home. So.
Don't worry about me, I'll be okay.
I think that people that have other people's lives in their hands should be the most trustworthy, the most responsive, the most accessible that anybody can see. And when you're not, that's when you have problems. But I am always out in the community in Pleasantville, like when they want you to read for the schools, I love reading to the kids in schools. When it's time to, like for Santa Claus to come, I'm there. The more you can be out into the community and the people of your community can see you and actually realize that you're not just one person who shows up twice a month. They know that you're part of the community, and I have roots in my community, and I will do anything for the people in Pleasantville.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we are entering in the final group of candidates, and before we bring up our at-large candidates for the City of Atlantic City, I want to make a little change, and hopefully both mayoral candidates will agree to this. Our president, Kaleem Shabazz, has agreed to allow both candidates to have an additional 5 minutes so that they can continue to plan. Both candidates, are you okay with that at the end? Or did Kaleem lie to me? Okay, so at the end of, and President Shabazz is going to flip a coin to see who goes first. Oh, I'm going to flip the coin. All right, so let me get my liability insurance now. All right, so can I now have our candidates for Atlantic City at-large council join me here at these chairs? And while they're coming up, I will announce that we have Councilwoman Stephanie Marshall, Muhammad Akbar Hussein, Stephen L. Young, Andra Kimbrough Williams, Councilwoman at Large Patricia Bailey, and Muhammad Suhail Ahmed. Awesome. So I'm going to start with you, Councilwoman Marshall. Do you want to come up to in 1 minute, 2 minutes of opening remarks, and then I will engage in some questions in a minute to close. Is that okay? Yeah. Awesome. I'm going to work on that for you.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the NAACP and Asbury for putting this on. We greatly appreciate it. It's so important to get the information out there, and this is a perfect platform for you to meet the candidates. My name is Stephanie Marshall. I'm born and raised here in Atlantic City. Went to Atlantic City Public Schools, went to college at Atlantic Cape Community College, graduated from there, went to Kane University in North Jersey, where I received a degree in finance with a concentration in African studies. One thing that college taught me was to come home and be active in your community. So that was the first thing I did upon graduating from college. I came home, I joined the NAACP and became a youth advisor. And I've been active in the community ever since, working on campaigns for the last 20 years, serving on the Atlantic City Housing Authority, and now being on City Council. I paid my dues here in the city. I'm active in my civic association, which is the First Ward Civic Association, as well as Bungalow Park. I also own a home here in the great city of Atlantic City. I purchased my home a little over 20 years ago. If you vote for Team Small, myself and my running mates, we will continue to fight. I will continue to be active and showing up in the community and not just showing up when it's time for my vote. I'm very active in the community. Most people do see me out there. If you're out there, you definitely see me. And so I greatly appreciate it and hope everyone come out on June 10th and vote.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Something that I'm passionate about is jobs and securing jobs for not only our community, but specifically in Atlantic City. Now, as a city councilwoman and someone who's running for re-election, what would you do to not only secure jobs, but even new businesses to come to the city of Atlantic City?
Well, I would start with the budget. The budget is very important when you invest in your seniors and you invest in your youth. The two largest employees in Atlantic City are the casinos and the hospital, and we need to look for other avenues. In the budgets, in the mayor's budget is the small business. Actually, Weeks spoke about earlier where he's the assistant director to get more people to open up businesses, and that's what you need. You have to partner with the private sector so that they are willing to invest in Atlantic City. And when they open up businesses in Atlantic City, that will bring jobs. We can no longer depend on the hospital or mainly the casinos to bring jobs into Atlantic City. We definitely need more small businesses. We have the Orange Loop that's opening up. That's small businesses. That's private funding. We have to make sure our streets are safe and clean, which we have a great job of doing that in Atlantic City. And as long as we continue to do that, people will be willing to come into Atlantic City and invest, and there goes the jobs.
Thank you. Switching it up a little bit, what is your opinion of the city's curfew siren?
That I leave up to the chief of police. It's important to, I may not necessarily, as a kid growing up here in Atlantic City, I'm very familiar with the siren. And so that's an area where I don't give my personal thought or how I feel. Do I like it? No, I don't. But I do know what's necessary. And I listen to the experts, starting with the chief of police, hearing what the administration have to say. If they feel there's a need for it, then there you go. I'm not an expert in that. I don't know that kids should be home by 9:30 because after 9:30, they're more likely to maybe commit crime or be involved in something maybe they should not be. So if the chief of police says that the sirens need to be on, then I say the sirens need to be on.
Thank you. What plan or projects would you prioritize with federal relief dollars Atlantic City will receive through the American Rescue Plan?
Okay, so that's federal funds and that's grant funding. When Biden signed that, and I think it was 2022, that was for municipalities so that they could keep their fire and police and continue to clean the streets. In education, I worked for the Atlantic City Board of Education. I'm the bookkeeper there. That funding goes to salaries. It goes to help educate the students. We all know that during COVID, when children were home, it was a difficult situation and our children are falling behind. So with the school district, that money is going into more of education, more one-on-one. With a municipality, it's you really have to look and see what you can do, but it definitely goes to, and I say that in a sense that when it's grant funding, you have to purchase specifically what it's for, and it goes towards salaries for police and fire, and also the mayor's scholarship program that helps support children in Atlantic City to go to college. If you apply, you could receive $10,000.
Thank you so much. And 1 minute, would you mind giving us your closing remarks?
Oh, well, I want to say it's great to be here. Like I said, I started out with the NAACP. I have a lot of respect for the NAACP, and having a minor in African Studies, I learned so much and how important it is to come home and be engaged. I want to say I worked for the city of Atlantic City as an accountant. I worked in healthcare as a finance director. I worked for the Atlantic City Board of Education. I did payroll, and I also did bookkeeping. I understand finance, procurement, budgeting, and that is extremely important to understand. I understand grants. I understand how it all works. And so I ask that you support me. That is the experience I will continue to bring to City Council. And June 10th, if you could please vote Team Small, Mayor Small, and myself, Stephanie Marshall, my running mates, Pat Bailey, and Suai Ahmad. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll bring up candidate Andra Kimbrough Williams for council at large.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here. First of all, I just want to say I thank God that we live in a democracy and not a dictatorship, because everyone has an opportunity to vote for who they want to, and everyone has an opportunity to run if they feel they have something to offer the people. I want to be mindful and respectful of time, because when the timekeeper says it's my time, I'm going to sit down. So quickly about myself, I was born and raised here in Atlantic City. In the Inlet, my family started at 917 Virginia Place, if any old-timers know where that was. We ended up in the Inlet on Folsom Avenue, and we now have a home on New Jersey Avenue from down the street, across the street from my best friend. I have two daughters who were raised in Atlantic City. We were flooded out, and we ended up living in Mays Landing for several years. But our roots are here in Atlantic City. And I want to say that I've seen the ups and the downs of Atlantic City. The streets, as they say, are clean. I beg to differ, depending on where you walk. Suitable housing, I beg to differ. We have too many lots. When you live in an apartment on Atlantic Avenue paying $2,400 a month, and you look outside of your window and all you see are homeless and alcoholics and drug addicts, I don't think that's suitable housing or sustainable housing for Atlantic City. I don't think that that represents a clean Atlantic City. I don't think that represents a safe Atlantic City. I think there's a lot more that we can do, and I'm not negating what has been done. I'm just saying a new perspective, new ideas is what we need here in Atlantic City.
Thank you. And can you talk to us about,
Thank you.
Can you talk to us about transferable skills that you would bring to the city council position from previous professional and community organizations?
Okay. Little do people know of me, I was formerly the president of the Bungalow Park Civic Association. I am presently a member of the zoning board. I attend City Stat regularly. I attend council meetings as often as I can. I have a degree in business administration. I'm a member of Community Baptist Church. I worked for IHD. I've worked for the welfare department. I was a person from welfare to work when that law came out. So I have a vast number of skills that I don't talk about because I don't talk about myself. I'd rather people see my actions than to hear what I have to say. And if the city residents can see my actions and not just hear words, I think I've done what I need to do to get their trust. Well, I believe I'm doing that now. I don't drive wherever I go throughout the city. I moved back to Atlantic City. I lived in Texas for 10 years, just so you know, and I came back because I got tired of driving. I wanted to be in an area where I can engage with people by walking, by using public transportation, and I travel from the inlet to Albany Avenue often, so I get a chance to engage with everyone in every community, and I listen to what they have to say and try to do my best to take these issues to the city stat meetings. They don't have to live in my neighborhood for me to voice what their concerns are.
Thank you. And for a minute, do you mind sharing some closing remarks?
Well, I got the opportunity to tell you a little bit about my background. I'm not going to sit up here and rah-rah. People know who they trust and who they want to vote for. I'm not going to stand up here and say that I'm better than Miss Bailey or Miss Marshall. We all have our own diverse and separate skills that we have to offer. We have our own ideas. And as our team represents, clean, safe streets Atlantic City does not have. I live on a street that I can tell you I complain about at every city stat meeting. So what we stand for is to have sustainable housing. When our seniors cannot go to a pharmacy because they've all closed, that's not safe because our seniors are not able to get medication to keep them healthy. When streets are empty but vague, filled with addicts, they're not safe because they don't operate and go on Atlantic Avenue or any other place in the city. Thank you. Again, thank you for having us, and I appreciate you listening.
Thank you. So next we will have current Councilwoman, Ms. Patricia Bailey. You get to talk.
Good evening, good evening. And I too, like everyone else, want to thank the NAACP as well as this lovely church which my husband's family came from for this opportunity. My name is Patricia Bailey, and I've been living in Atlantic City for about 55 years or more. I'm married. I had 3 children, and been married to the same man for over 50 years. So that should show you my commitment, okay? Mr. Bailey. But anyway, I presently stand before you seeking your vote for council at large. I sat in that position now. When Mr. Weeks left that position by vote, I was placed in the position. But before that, I started doing service from the standpoint of a mother first, things like the PTA. Then from that, a previous mayor, Mayor Jim Whalen, appointed me to the library board. And that's where I really got my servicing start for serving this community of Atlantic City. I was president of Atlantic City Free Public Library Board. From there, I became a member for 5 years of the MUA, which is the Atlantic City Municipal Utilities Board. And from that, I went to the Atlantic City Board of Education, where I served for 13 years because I'm committed. I'm committed to, first of all, my neighborhood, but once I start something, I want to not only see it through, but I want to make sure that it's better when I walk away from it. And so for 5 years there, I served as the board president. For 3 years, I served as a board vice president. During that time, I worked with everyone from so many different superintendents. But what I learned was bonding. What I learned was how to look at blueprints of schools that we built under my administration, which was the New Pennsylvania Avenue School, as well as Richmond Avenue School. And I got a chance to oversee all of that, to work with different individuals. See, administration and higher ups are different. And no matter who it is you're working with, you have to learn to work with the person. So I just want to bring to you those years of commitment to the city and say that my time is up, and I thank you.
It's okay. With your extensive background, how will you ensure that development decisions that you will make will not displace people or put people in a more vulnerable situation?
That's a good question. I would say that we need to be more conscious of those development decisions. Now, we know we need development. I'll be the first one to say that. And in Bungalow Park, we recently, a few years ago, got a building. It's not being used now, but we wanted to go to the community to make sure it was what they wanted. And so therefore, my first thing would be dealing with the community from a standpoint to make sure that the development that we put out there is something that's acceptable. It's called communication. Our president, Randolph, says it all the time, that we have to communicate with the community. So by going in the community and finding out those things, making sure that the development, whether it be a grant program, whether it be initiatives that the governor set up or whatever, that those developments make a cohesiveness with the city and not just be there for the tourists. So that's pretty much the way I would do it. It's about collaboration with the community.
Awesome. And what will you propose to bring new businesses to Atlantic City, as Councilwoman Marshall stated earlier, to bring also jobs, reasonable jobs that give people a living wage and not something that just keeps them busy?
Yeah, we don't want to do something that just keeps them busy. I will say this, if you guys remember recently, the mayor signed off on a program which allowed a small company to come in and do driver training for CDLs. It was located and still located at the airport at Bader Field. And so those are kind of the things. Entrepreneurship creates jobs. As Ms. Marshall's already said, anything that's going to be new, we can't keep depending on the casinos, we can't keep depending on the hospital. We have to do training programs, we have to do training our people that there are other things out there to do. And you do that by creating, Atlantic City has the best grant program in the world. So we create grants for just about everything. So therefore, if there's a small business that wants to do something in Atlantic City, there's a grant program that can support that. So I'm just going to say, by creating more programs through no money, no tax money, got 1 second, no tax money, but grant programs in order to have more entrepreneurship developed in Atlantic City.
And that's a great segue into my plan.
Well, as Councilwoman Marshall just said, that money is designated funds. Excuse me, I learned that through the school district. And you just can't do what you want to do with designated funds. But within the realm of those designated funds, there's always movement. It's a flow to that. So even though it may be designated for roads and bridges, there within that designation may be some other areas in which you can push that money to. So once one is educated into just what the fund is and what grant and what money goes behind that fund, you'll find that there's a birth and width of ways to use it within the framework that it came with.
Thank you. And with 1 minute, would you like to share some closing remarks?
Closing remarks. Okay. For 1 minute. So for 1 minute, I'll say to you, I love Atlantic City. Been living here for a long time. I raised 3 children in Atlantic City successfully. They went off to college. And so therefore, I know Atlantic City has a lot to offer. Whether people believe that Atlantic City is dirty and unsafe, everybody has their own vision. Everybody has their own interpretation. I don't feel afraid walking in Atlantic City. If I leave Bungalow Park and decide I want to walk to Atlantic Avenue, I'm not holding my pocketbook tight and I'm not looking over my shoulder because I feel safe in Atlantic City. All that's been done for this last 4 to 6 years of administration has been to better Atlantic City. And do I see it better? I see it better. Am I going to go anywhere? No. Got a call the other day. Offered me 3 times what my house was worth 2 years ago. 3 times, y'all, and 2 years ago it was worth $200,000. I'm not going anywhere because I love Atlantic City and I think Atlantic City loves me and I have more to give. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. Up next, we're going to bring up Muhammad Akbar Hussein. And as you know, 2 minutes for opening remarks.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Kolim, Councilman Kolim, and NACP to inviting us here. And my name is Mohammed Akbar Hussain, and I born in Bangladesh, and I've been living this city last 27 years. And I'm an IT administrator as well as an accountant. And I have 3 kids with a wonderful wife. My elder daughter, she just started her cybersecurity job last week. And I'm planning to serve for Atlantic City. This is the first time I'm serving, running for any public office. So if I get the opportunity, I'll try my best.
Thank you. And continuing the same vein of economic development, how will you plan to engage communities in partnership with economic development and the city?
Thank you. I've been working 2 different specific area. The one was the accounting department, and another one was IT department. And that's the IT department. I trained almost 150 people, and out of 150, is more than 100 people got the job, and they have been serving whole United States. So, as an IT person, I can tell you, if I get the opportunity, I will bring more upper class level job, and I will create the opportunity so that our kids, they don't run away from this area to Philly or New York City. So we are going to have a better economic plan which will bring business, which will bring all IT and other areas.
Thank you. And what do you see as the most pressing issue facing Atlantic City, and how would you address it?
Atlantic City, our team slogan is safe, clean street. So right now, our city is not safe. Especially, I can tell you, kids, they don't want to play. This area anymore, they like to stay home because they don't feel safe. I have an example. My son, who has someone attacked him last October, and I have an opportunity to talk different department, and till now I can tell you nothing happened. There was 5 kids was playing Texas Avenue school area and that park, but still nobody took care of it. And I also told one of police officer, so why is everything is happening right now? It should be whole year. Every year should be taking care of our city. All the kids has to be safe, and street has to be clean, but is not.
Thank you. And then finally, how will you make sure that your economic development planning does not leave anyone behind, especially those vulnerable communities of color in Atlantic City?
I've been working since I've been living this area. I've been working with my South Asian community as well as other community as well. And I see what they are saying. I see what kind of problem they are facing. And based on that, I will bring all the resources, if I get the opportunity, and make this Atlantic City best place to live for every one of us.
Thank you. And then with 1 minute, you can share closing remarks.
I got the great team here, and this team is trying to make this city one of the best city in the United States. Safe, clean street. That will be our slogan, and we'll do it, and we're working on it, and I think we'll be able to finish our job once we are elected. And I like to say, all of you, give it to us this opportunity to serve the city, to help the city to make a better city for every one of us. Now is not the better city for every one of us. We will make this city great. Thank you.
Next, we're going to bring up candidate Stephen L. Young, Council at Large. Yes, sir.
First, give honor to God. I want to say peace, assalamu alaikum, and shalom. And Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses, what they had in common? They were all public servants amongst the community. The public service is what politicians supposed to be. You're working for the community. I've been that and will continue to be that service. I want to say thank you to the NAACP. I know how it feels to sit there and be there on the street fighting for people's rights, whether it's civil or human rights, whether it's housing, whether it's our youth. I have continued to do that today, and I have a lot of receipts to back that up. So go by the receipts that has been made by the accomplishments and are speaking up for the voiceless throughout this community. Because it's from Washington all the way to Atlantic City, you're going to need a strong voice. Steve Young would need to be that strong voice in a peaceful, nice way. I am a peacekeeper, as well as I have been on the Housing Authority, as well as I was on the Planning Department. And as on the Planning Department of Atlantic City, I was put there by 3 mayors, Don Guardian, Lorenzo Langford, and Frank Gilliam. So they had enough confidence in me being able to plan something for the entire community. I would like to make that real by being a legislator at this time. And when it comes to Atlantic City, we must get our city back. The city takeover is real. We're in debt. And the state is under control under the Municipal Stabilization Recovery Act. How can we get it back? We got to bring some revenue here. But we got to let them know. Those luxury taxes that go and things that go out, we must be going up to Trenton and let them know that money needs to stay here. We must be going to Washington and let them know the money needs to stay here. And when it comes to maintaining our housing, that's a very serious issue because all the residents living in some type of housing. And it needs to be decent and maintained. That's why, if you want to help people come here and stay here, maintain what you got. And it's going to take a whole community to do that. Thank you. I'm Steve Young.
Thank you. And that's a good segue into the next question as to what would you do as a councilman to attract businesses, to fight back the narrative that people outside the city maybe talk about. So what would you do to create a good narrative to keep people here?
Well, to keep people here, people want to know what they have in common to bring them here. Housing is key. Is it affordable? Market rate is what they're talking about. What the market is bringing right now, you cannot afford. That has been proven on and on again. So we need the type of affordable housing that whatever you make in a week, that's what your monthly mortgage should be or your rent should be. Therefore, you got the rest of the month to argue with the rest of your bills and to negotiate with everybody so you can have an affordable life. And also, it's very important, our future is our children. If they don't see no future, you see what you got now. How can we improve that? We got to lead by example. And you have to be out there in the street in order to do that. And don't be scared of it.
Thank you. The NAACP, we focus on many things, and the one particular thing we've been focusing on in Atlantic City is health equity. Increasing life expectancy. As we know, your zip code can determine your life expectancy. What are some things you would do to improve the health outcomes of the residents of Atlantic City?
Well, I would first want to start with the Atlantic City Housing Authority and the people in Stanley Holmes Village and the people in Section 8 that's in deplorable housing right now, living in mold, mildew, and lack of maintenance, because that destroys your health for our children and our seniors in these type of buildings. So we got to learn, and we have to start advocating for more maintenance in our facilities that we have today, because our health is very important. Right now, you can't even be born in Atlantic City. There's no maternity ward. You can't die here either because there's no cemetery. But those are some things that we could be working on together, but a lot of people on the outside don't know. In order to do that, we have to tell the truth and be transparent of what's here, what's good, and what can you bring here to make Atlantic City better.
Thank you. And then final question. How would you plan to work with City Council to make sure that the vision of economic development, good health outcomes, and prosperity is the priority?
Well, first, we have to be real the way it is, the way it has been for years. Certain people, they will stay in a certain lane towards getting things done. We got to be more inclusive. In order to be more inclusive, we got to listen to the people that's been hurting the most. The people that's hurting the most have the solutions. That's why I've been at the council meeting so many times giving recommendations and solutions to things, because I'm in touch with the people that's being hurt the most. So I think the way you can do that economically and everything else, we have to be in touch with the people. And you have to walk the street, and you got to include them, because inclusion is transparency. And that will bring about solutions to the problems we have, because we're all about solutions right now.
Thank you. And with 1 minute, closing remarks.
Again, why run this time? Now's the time. And people see hope. There was a young lady, there was an older lady, she asked me, she said, why don't you run? Matter of fact, she said, why don't you run for mayor? I said, no, not right now. Well, she said, why don't you run? Because you've been doing the works of a public servant already. So she said, we see hope in you. That word hope is what changed me and got me the reason to run and be there with other council people. And we can share each other's, no matter who wins, we got to work together to build Atlantic City a better place. In order to do that, we got to communicate and don't hold no grudges for a lifetime. Those grudges have put and left Atlantic City down. But Atlantic City, the A stands for all, and the C stands for cousins. We all in this together, everybody. In order to do that, we can't hold no grudges for a lifetime. If you got a problem with somebody, talk it out. And my council people, I would talk to them and say, what the problem you have with me so I can make me a better person. So that's what I would bring, and I would like to see as a council person.
Thank you. And then finally, our last candidate, Mohammed Suhail Ahmed.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for NASCP to arranging this event here and the Asbury Methodist Church. My name is Mohammed Suhail Ahmed. I grew up in New York. I moved in 2003 in Atlantic City. I have 2 children, one son, he goes to Rutgers, and a daughter who's going to come out of Atlantic City High School this year. I have a beloved wife. She works as a nurse assistant at the Dr. Asimoto's office in Ventnor City. I used to work at Borgata for 18 years. Then I worked for the fire prevention office for a couple of months. Then I worked for sheriff's office with the prosecutor and judge, and I will sit down and give the second chance to the people who have minor violation like shoplifting and stuff like that. Also, I worked as a social worker at the Atlantic County Government Office. Doing all this work, I have met many people with many perspective, with many different kind of people. If you all vote for me, I will try my best to help, especially the minority people who are low-income people in the city, who are struggling from a lot of things that you and I sitting here have no clue unless you are on the field. I have seen many addicts. I have seen many homelesses. I know a lot of homeless people that come from other counties too to get help from here, and we don't have enough funds to help everybody in other county they come from. But I have been living in the city for the last 20 years. I know I have seen many mayors come and go. Many promises have been made. And I'm thinking that this administration has done a great job in the city. And this council person that I'm running with, we can do much better. Thank you.
Thank you. And you touched on this a little bit. The NAACP, we tackle many issues, but what we find consistently is that poverty is the root cause of some of the issues that we're fighting against. What are your anti-poverty strategies as it pertains to fixing Atlantic City poverty?
Well, I can promise something that I cannot get, but what I can tell you is there are a lot of fundings that come from federal government. There are a lot of fundings that come from State Department. And if we can properly distribute those funds and make these people motivated to, get training so they can get back to their own feet and do things like, work, get a new job and stuff like that, that would be my vision here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And as you mentioned, you will have to work with your colleagues. And so what skill sets do you have that allow you to, I was just going to finish real quick. Sure. You was ready to answer that. You was ready to
no,
go.
Go ahead.
What skill sets do you have that showcase that you are an inclusive leader?
Well, to work with them, I forgot to mention something. When I was in New York, I was a manager for his organization that I was managing their funds, income, loss, spending, all that, which I didn't tell you. I have experience on that. Also, I'm sorry, what was the other one you said?
How would you showcase that you are an inclusive leader, being able to work with diverse team members?
I have been a general secretary of a non-profit organization that has been established since 2008 in Atlantic City called Bangladesh Association of Atlantic County. I have been working very close with the minority people that lives in our areas. And with my experience with them, my goal would be not to just help the South Asians, but to get connected with, like Latinos and other multicultural people that live in that area. And with my experience being with the non-profit organization, I know which corner need help and how I can help them out with the funding and resources that we have in the city. A lot of these people even don't know we have resources in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. And one last question. Atlantic City has been uniquely at the forefront of some environmental issues. Any thoughts of some type of strategy to address the environmental issues that faces Atlantic City?
Well, Atlantic City is a rural city. It's like there must be much, we can do much more with it if we all sit down together and come up with a plan. I cannot just tell, I'll do this and I'll do that, but a lot of things could be done, like such as, let's say, we can bring like internet projects in the city. We can have like sunlight, solar system. There are many other things lays around. We just need to work out together, and together we can achieve anything. The vision would be to create more jobs, bring more businesses to Atlantic City, small business, the investors. I'll be looking for that too. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, with 1 minute, if you want to share some closing remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone in this room, for listening to us. If you vote for me and I win, I promise you that I'll have every month a meeting in 4th, 5th, and 6th ward, because those were all multicultural people are disconnected. I'll put them all in a same dots, and I'll make sure they get all the messages that we have, whatever going on in the city. And whole citywide, I will support the mayor and ask whatever the legislation we create and whatever the city council approves, I'll push it, and I'll be very supportive. I won't be like just self-serve myself. I have seen many councilmen in the past. When they get elected, all they think about themselves and their family. I'm not like that. I'm for the people. I live for the people. I love people, and that's what I am. Thank you.
Thank you. So I know we had a change, but I want to first thank our candidates here and commend you for the work that you're doing and will continue to do. So we want to thank you, and we continue to support our civic duty of making sure we get people out to vote. So thank you all again. So I believe President Shabazz is going to do rock, paper, scissors, shoot with our two. Oh, I have to do this? Okay. And we're going to do 5 minutes. So Mr. Johnson, we're going to get the big clock out. Now, I haven't flipped a coin in like 35 years. Okay, you ready? Oh, wait, we got to get them to call it first. The candidate's got to call it. I know they have bigger things to do right now than pick heads or tails. Are we ready? Right there. It failed today. It's heads. I'm so.
Mr. McGavin, do you want to go first or last? It's heads. Flip the coin.
Go last. 5 minutes is just to follow up on anything you want to say. And whose quarter is this? This yours, Colleen? Because it's mine now. It's going to my kid's piggy bank. I'm so sorry. Say that one part again. To make them ask their statement at the end. For both of them to respond. Gotcha.
All right. I felt a little rushed, so I can take my time now. I mean, there's a couple of things that I want to go over that has never happened here in the great city of Atlantic City when it came to an administration. There's a lot of people that always complain about issues, about the city not being clean, the city not being safe, and more importantly, people complain about the homeless. I've been in those meetings. People just complain, and talk. But the small administration walks the walk. The small administration says what it means and means what it says. And what do we mean by that? I'm the only mayor to directly address the homeless issue. 2 weeks ago, we got $3 million from CRDA to put patrols on Pacific, Atlantic, and handle the Renaissance Plaza area. Similar to what we did on the boardwalk last summer, and everyone talked about how much police they seen on the boardwalk. But as I told everybody, I'm not just the mayor for the tourism district. I'm the mayor for the entire Atlantic City, including the neighborhoods from Maine to Jackson and every neighborhood in between. So my vision came to light. We hired 10 people whose job each and every day is out there on the street working with the homeless on Atlantic Avenue, under the boardwalk, and everywhere that homeless are. We also worked with the state of New Jersey to get a homeless czar, and it wasn't satisfactory just to get a body. We wanted resources to come with that. So what do you see out there now? We started the Boardwalk Improvement Group. We have the people out there each and every day, and to put our money where our mouth is, CDBG, we're investing $1.8 million to house 43 people for over a 2-year period and giving all the resources that we have. So that's the homelessness issue. When we talk about clean and safe, my agenda is very people specific. We're investing in human capital, be it jobs with the job coordinator that we have in City Hall, be it our entrepreneur programs, as Bruce Weeks said. The Mayor's Office Small Business Academy is one course that we offer residents for free. They learn the ins and outs of how to run a business, and we're going to give them incentives at the end. We had a credit repair class because if you want to be an entrepreneur and have access to capital, you have to have good credit. And this administration has done that for free. We're going to have a financial literacy course in the fall for free. We had an investment cohort for the residents for free. And the people that want to have jobs, we have a job placement coordinator in City Hall whose sole purpose is to get people jobs outside of City Hall, because as you know, everyone can't work for City Hall. 1,500 people a couple of years ago worked for the city. We're a little over 1,000 now. We're doing less, we're doing more with less. And a lot of people wanted to talk about the anti-violence program. Studies show, not only in the United States, but worldwide, Anti-violence programs are best ran when you have people who used to live that life, who are now fully rehabilitated and back in the community. We have no idea of all the crime that they stop because their job is to mitigate what's going on before it escalates. A lot of people complained and talked last year, the first 5 weeks, 5 murders. The first 3 months, 6 murders. We didn't panic. We got leaders in the room because that's what a leader does. A leader knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. We got people in the room, and we didn't point fingers, and we specifically said that this is unacceptable. Everybody talked about Atlantic City, but didn't talk about how we finished the year because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. As I stated earlier, you can say safe, clean streets. That's a cute preschool term. It's politics 101 when you don't have anything to talk about. Ask him how is he going to implement safe, clean streets because we got a plan. They don't have a plan. Our plan is working. Crime is down 11%. No murders in 2025 here in the great city of Atlantic City. And also, Atlantic City is an urban city and people don't understand. So you hear people who don't know anything about an urban setting, why do they have criminals working in City Hall? Ladies and gentlemen, it's something called the recidivism rate. If we have nothing for our people, our returning citizens who've been to jail, let's say if someone does a 5-year term, they come back home, they have nothing to do, they ask the government for help, they ask other people for help, and everybody turn their back on them, right? What's going to happen the next time they go to jail? 7.5 to 10 years. Under the small administration, we're welcoming people back to the community and giving them legitimate means to mainstream back into the society, be it housing, be it jobs and more. Our team each and every day is on the front line. And again, I always say that the youth and seniors are our 2 most precious resources. I see some people in here that participate in our senior program. We got the best senior program in the state of New Jersey, hands down. And then some of the people wanted to talk about a purchase that the taxpayers didn't even pay for, the Great Day Bus. But if you ask the youth and the seniors to ride that bus, they ride in comfort and style. And why shouldn't Atlantic City have nice things? A former administration gave all the transportation to the county, buses that barely made it to Pleasantville. We are connected to the community so we know what the community needs. So all that and more, ladies and gentlemen, I've been mayor for almost 6 years, but we still have work to do. So again, I want you to dream big, vote small Tuesday, June 10th, vote for the entire team, small ticket. One more time. Can we say great day?
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to come back up because I listened to a lot of stuff and how great everything is. And it's funny, this administration has been in elected office, the mayor himself has been in elected office here in the city for 20 years. On council, council president, now the mayor, more than a term's worth of mayor. And I don't know what he thinks he sees from the back of whatever car that's driving him around town. But what I see from the street, I'm not here to debate you. This isn't a debate. What I see from the street